Thank you, Prime Minister. And now we move to the Leader of the Opposition, Melissa, for a 7-minute constructive.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for acknowledging us. And thank you, government, for bringing this very important issue to the table. However, we are here today to discuss the resolution this House would establish a national nutrition policy. Your argument is not topical. You are talking about children. We need to define these so that we can see how this is not a topical argument. Let's look at this House. This House we would like to define as the government of the United States. They've already addressed that, so we're not worried about it. Let's look at establish, which is to set into a secure position. They did not address this. There is a national nutrition policy that is already established. National. National is defined as of or belonging to a nation, typical of its people. This is what is not topical about their argument. They determined national nutrition policy and then only addressed school children. We'll further this in just a second. Policy, they described it in their thing, we're not worried about it. Inherency in their argument was that children choose unhealthy options. How is that inherency if you're only addressing children in a national nutrition policy? There are numerous facts about national that would make this be a topical argument. We need to address the standard and the completeness of the resolution, the violation, which will show in their definitions, a better definition, a reason to prefer that definition, the impact that this non-topical argument would have, and we will go through that. So let's begin. Standard is the completeness of the resolution is being violated here. They are not addressing the entire nation. They have discriminated against adults. They have discriminated against infants. They have discriminated against pregnant mothers and newborns. We can look at this and see what it excludes with a little bit more data so that we understand why this is not a topical argument that the government has presented. The violation is that they exclude people. They exclude the adults. Youth are only 20% of the population according to the 2006 population data sheet. 20%. What about the other 80? That's 80% of our population that they're excluding. On top of that, 61% of adults are overweight or obese, and only 13% of children are obese. If you do that math real quick, that's 13% of 20%, which is 3.4% that they're really addressing. School-age children is 3.4% of our national population. How is that national? The better definition would be one that includes the entire nation, of or belonging to a nation that I discussed a few minutes ago. The reason to prefer that is it does not discriminate. The national nutrition policy needs to address everybody without discrimination due to allergy, age, or anything else. Yes, Minna?
Excuse me, I thought I heard that you earlier said that we're talking about 20% of American children and suddenly we're talking about 3% only. I must be confused somewhere.
Let me clarify that statistic. My point was youth are 20% of our population and only 13% of that youth is obese. That's where that calculation comes from. So there's 80% that we're already leaving out that are adults and of other age that aren't in school. And then there are the 13% of that 20, then there's the rest of 7% that's fine. They're nutritionally sufficient. They are okay. They're being left out of this program. So back to the impact that this would have, that's where we were going next. There is an entire nation of people that we're leaving out here. So we're not taking into effect that children don't have the buying power in the home. They're not the ones that do the grocery shopping. They might eat well in school, but then they're going to go home and not have anything to do with it. We're also, the fact that they're dealing with just school-aged children, they are impacting or leaving out the impact that mothers have on the formative years of children's development. So if you're nutritionally deficient growing up because your mom didn't watch what she ate and she kept feeding you whatever, and then you go to school and you can finally start eating healthy, you're already suffering consequences. That's not being complete. The next thing on this topicality is that this argument is not unique. Like I said, there is a national nutrition policy in place today. We just need to boost it. Thank you very much.